All right, we're going to get started tonight. Our speaker, Keith Malinak, is going to talk tonight about his experience working in the conservative industry, working with the great and controversial figure, Glenn Beck. So give it up for Keith.
I love this place. Oh, it's got to turn it on? Okay. Oh, I got you. All right. Whew. So I've known for several months that I was going to be doing this, and I didn't decide until this past weekend a rough outline of some things I might talk about tonight. So we'll see how this goes, y'all. I've seen some of your presentations up here. You've had some pretty awesome speakers up here that have had a lot to say and fancy presentations and slideshows. And also Jessica. Yes, okay. So anyway, thank you to Josh and to Jess for inviting me. This is going to be an experience for you, I think, because interrupt me at any time, please, okay? Because believe it or not, I've never done one of these. The only public speaking that I've done, well, no, I guess I did some of the Tea Party stuff, and I've done some funeral eulogies. But other than that, I usually just talk into a microphone and stare at a wall while I'm doing it. So this is an experience for me. So thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. I love this. I love this institute. I love this group, and I have searched for something like this in Dallas, where I live. And I don't know if I'm just not searching in the right places, but I would love to have this kind of community available there. But unfortunately, Texas is asleep at the wheel. And I think that maybe Texas is about 25 years behind Colorado at this point. We still get grocery bags for free, so that's good. That's good. Yeah, right. Thank you. There we go. All right, we got it for the grocery bags. All right. But Texas thinks that, let me back up. You don't need me. You don't need some guy driving through town from Texas to tell you that Californians invaded your state and have now done a number on it. And we're in the early days of that happening in Texas. And that's why groups like this are so important. You guys have been through it. I love Colorado. I've always loved Colorado. Secretly, when I was at the University of Nebraska, where I went to school, I would look over, it's such a beautiful state here. It's just, but you're also a host body for these parasites that move in here and absolutely change it. And you guys can talk better than I could to this, but it doesn't feel like maybe it happened overnight. Maybe it took a generation. I don't know. But just looking from afar, it was clear what was happening here. And then Idaho is falling, and then Montana. These states that are so beautiful, these parasites move in and do a number. But I told you I didn't have any idea what I was going to talk about up here. And this past weekend, my son and I, he was 19 years old and about to sign up for the Air Force. He's such a great human being. I love this kid. He is the exact opposite of me as far as temperament, and just nothing gets under his skin. I don't know how he does it. I don't know that he's related to me, actually, now I think about it. But yeah, right. Thank you. Yeah. So he and I were camping, and it was hot as hell. I left Texas because it's hot as hell in Texas, and I like to escape to where it's nice and cool, but this was not the case. So it's hot. I, like a dumbass, forgot the solar powered battery thing that I bought, and then I left in Texas. So we have no electricity. We have no internet whatsoever. We take way too little water with us. We're rationing water from the minute. And we're 5 miles removed from the truck. It's a long story. Had to be driven in on a gator. I don't know. So I'm just watching him because we're passing the time. We're in the world's most beautiful prison. We can do nothing but talk and stare off at the scenery. And I'm watching him make the most of the situation. He's keeping himself busy with his hatchet, and he's carving stuff, and he's building things. And I'm just sitting over there like, who is this kid? And we had no news. So the Trump-Putin conversation is happening, and I'm thinking, this last trip that we're doing together, I don't know where he's going to be marching off to next, but I'm expecting the worst when I come down off of this mountain. And obviously it's TBD. We'll see. But nothing makes you anti-war quicker than having kids. And nothing motivates you to do what you can to stop war from happening if you have a kid that's in the military. And that's just been weighing heavy on me for the last few days, obviously, with everything that's happening. And groups like this, I hope you realize how important these kind of gatherings are to promote liberty, to promote peace, to promote smaller government. People like me who, and by the way, I totally get that very few in this room, know anything about me or know who I am. I work at the Blaze. And I will get to the Blaze stuff, and I'm probably just going to open that up to questions because I don't know what to say, just other than I'm in conservative media. But we talk for a living. You guys you're the doers. I could sit here and listen to Jason. I could listen to all of you guys that got up here and talk all night. It's very exciting what you're doing. And it's very important because you're changing minds. And then you change the minds and you change the votes, and you change the votes and you change the leaders, and you change the leaders, and you hope that policy changes, but we know how that ends. But I don't want you guys to think that what you're doing here isn't important, because I'm stunned by the energy in here. I love it. And like I said, I want this in Dallas. And if you know if y'all know where this is happening in Dallas, Fort Worth, please tell me, because this is so encouraging. This is exactly what I needed. Selfishly, I needed to see a group like this in Denver, Colorado. And I just think it's absolutely awesome what y'all are doing here. Now, as far as what I do, okay, all right. I'm up here to talk about the media and stuff, I know. So I've been working with Glenn Beck since 2009. And when you mentioned Newark earlier, it struck a nerve because I had to live there for 2 weeks before I found housing. And holy shit, and I was every day looking over my shoulder. And this was back in the good old days of 2009. This wasn't now. So I've been working with Glenn, and then he started a different show on the network in 2017, Pat Gray Unleashed. And I've been producing that. So I moved off of Glenn's radio show in 2017. So I've been doing that. And this is the show that comes on The Blaze right before Glenn starts his show for the day. But I'm going back to just the energy in this room. We talk. We talk. We bitch and complain about stuff, and then, we're on our way. You know, it's the day's over. And we immerse ourselves and doom scroll and go through the news and find other shit to talk about the next day. And then we just rinse and repeat. Y'all are actually the ones who are doing this stuff. And I'm so grateful for you. I mean, I'm sitting here feeling like the biggest fraud because I complain. I mean, that's what I do for a living. And then I put shit in front of a host to help him complain. But you guys are actually the ones, you're the boots on the damn ground. And I just love what you're doing here. And I'm the one that's getting something out of this. I hope you understand that. Now, I'm going back to Texas trying to find I've got to find the equivalent to this. And I will tell you real quick, I'm sorry, I have to say this. I'm a Gen Xer with too many boomer moments, like what happened today when I got here so damn early. And I mean, I'm talking, Jess and I were going to meet before, and I got here too early for that. And what I did is I put into my GPS, there's a library not far from here. And so I put in there that, and somehow it got erased or whatever. And so I ended up pulling up into this parking lot thinking I was at the library. And I walk up and I see a Thomas Jefferson statue sitting out there. And I'm like, holy shit, it's at a public library? And with the greatest quote that I've never heard from Thomas Jefferson. I scribbled it down here. And it was, oh gosh, did you guys, did y'all write that? Did y'all see that out there? Have you got it memorized? Here we go. Where is it? I cannot read my damn writing to save my life. Here we go. Okay. No, that's not it. Oh, it's over here. It's over here on this one. I told you I don't do this. Let's see. Timid men prefer the calm of despotism to the tempestuous sea of liberty. Thomas Jefferson. And you can imagine my surprise. I'm like, I'm at a public library. This thing hasn't been defaced. This hasn't been dragged away by BLM. And then I go to the door and I'm like, it's locked. What the hell, you know? And then I realize, dumbass, you're at the Institute. So anyway, that was my introduction here, and that's why I was here so early today. But that's such a great quote. And it applies to every one of you that got up here that talked today. I'm sure some of you talk other weeks when I'm not here. You get on your soapbox and you've got stuff, and the organization, y'all are not going to roll over. And it's just so awesome to see this. And I realize I'm babbling on and on and on, but I just want you to know that you made a great impression, a solid impression. Did you see, by the way, I just saw this today. Here's something I scribbled down, and I can actually read this one. Did you see that Democrats, this should be encouraging, I think, Democrats from 2020 to 2024 lost 2.1 million registered voters. Republicans gained 2.4 million in the same time. I don't know if it's a Trump effect. I don't know if it's an anti-Biden-Harris effect. But that's pretty encouraging, I think. At least it's going in the right direction as far as voter registration. I mean, then, you know, that could lead to the Patriot Act, or that could lead to more foreign wars. Maybe that could lead to more COVID overreach. But my point is, at least the registration is, I think there's a glimmer of hope there. But I think the biggest takeaway, the biggest thing I could say, and honestly, I'm so much better at just opening it up to questions, Josh, if anyone's got any, is in my line of work, which I've been into, I went to school for. So I've been in it my whole life. And there's a lot of complaining. I mean, that's our job, is to just bitch and complain. And honestly, I'm almost 50 years old. I wish I had done a lot more other than my biggest activism accomplishment was being the MC for one event, the Tea Party. I'm just remembering this up here now, on April 15th, 2009. Other than that, I haven't been solution-oriented, and what you guys are doing is very important, and I'm kind of convicted to do more. And hell, maybe I'll start a damn Dallas-Fort Worth group if I can't find one, right? So anyway, if you guys have any questions, I realize you don't know me from Adam, but please, by all means, if you want to ask any questions about
I'm going to ask you the first question then.
Please.
So I want to know, in your experience with conservative media, what is the biggest opinion shift you've seen over the last maybe 15 years?
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that up, because I meant to say that. I meant to talk about that and how common sense is actually taking root, whether we realize it or not. And maybe you do, but unfortunately, it has taken big things like COVID to wake people up. And unfortunately, not enough people did wake up. But in a larger sense to your question, I really think there's much more of a desire for peace now. People like me, I mean, being a war hawk after 9/11, I told you before we got started, Scott Horton, that book just absolutely woke me up personally to the war on terror and the truth about that. Holy hell. But I think COVID actually woke people up to government overreach. And we're going to do it again. I think everybody in this room realizes something's coming. They're going to do the same thing again, and your same dumbass neighbors and your same dumbass aunt and uncles that show up at Thanksgiving are going to fall for the same tactics again. I don't know what name it's going to go by, but they're absolutely going to do that. But at the same time, while they're going to fall prey to it again, so many people have woken up. So many people realize, I know it's a shock. Hope you're sitting down. I see that you are. The government does not have our best interests in mind. They don't care. Right, shocker, right? I know, spoiler alert. So I really think that people have woken up to that fact, and they no longer just default, because that's how I raise my kids. The default position is question the government's story every damn time. You absolutely cannot take at face value what your government says to you. And I think COVID woke a lot of people up to that.
Yeah, I had a friend, when the Iran bombing happened, where he was just like, "Oh yeah, they were totally building nuclear weapons, and it's like there could be regime change." So not everybody's woken up. Where I thought that was funny. But the question I wanted to ask, Glenn Beck is an interesting entrepreneur, and he has like a lot of interesting ideas. And like I think this was about 10 years ago that he started his own jeans. And I kind of wonder if there was any kind of behind the scenes stories that if people like asked him, you're like, is this the right thing to make or whatever? So,
well, I know he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah. I knew he stopped.
But I think he bought a factory in North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
And then he was making clothes.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that stopped, but I do know that it did. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe the cost overhead was. Can I just go to what you said about the Iran bombing? Real quick, because this is what's so fascinating. Because I'm going to go and change my answer. Remember how I just said about the boy, we really like the peace now, right? And that's actually, no. You know what? Because overnight, the Republicans, many, were like, oh, maybe I do like war again now. And that's kind of shameful. And it's just hitting me right now. It's like, yeah, you know what? My guy's dropping the bombs. Yeah. Maybe I'm good with war again. How quickly we forget every damn thing. Anyway, so that just triggered that in me. But yeah, on the jeans thing, I don't know what happened to that.
I'm sure it just wasn't profitable.
Yeah, probably.
I want to kind of follow up on that point. What about opinions of Israel? Have you seen that really shift in your sphere?
Boy, nobody in my circle seems to want to get on board with my CIA, Israel working together hand in hand, Jeffrey Epstein stuff. But anyway, but I will say that I think it's such a slow turn. That's a ship that is just, I think it's turning, but I just don't know how long it's going to take. And if by the time it does turn around, is it going to be too late? And my point on Israel goes right back to what I just said about our government. Why do we trust every last thing? It's a government. They're always going to have their best interests in mind. And I think, in fact, I posted a damn poll on Twitter. I should probably look it up right now. Is the Israel, because a lot of people, look, I totally understand alliance with Israel. As far as I'm looking up the poll, I don't know if I'll find it here. And I asked, is the Israel of the Bible the same Israel as today? And I think when you frame it as a government and not the covenant Israel, then people start. Then I think you can have a conversation. I'm not going to be able to find this poll because I never went back to see what the results were. Dang it! That would have been very useful for this question. But to answer your question, I'm seeing a lot of Israel polls there. Let's see here. No, I'm just looking for this poll just to see where people stand on that. Anyway, I just think that you have to look at them as a government on the world stage, and then the spiritual stuff completely separate, I think.
So really quickly, the first thing I'd like to say is that for all of your denigration of the work that you do, I think there are a lot of people here that don't watch any legacy media and pretty much just get their news media from more reliable sources like podcasts and the like. So just wanted to throw that out there. The other question that I had is about sort of, you spoke earlier about sort of maybe an alliance of sort between like more conservative and more libertarian.
Yeah.
And what do you see as being like the hurdles that would need to be overcome for that to occur, like on a more broad scale?
Gosh. Does anybody, and I don't know, I grew up listening to Neil Bortz. Anybody familiar? Neil Bortz, libertarian talk host based in Atlanta. Okay. What I didn't realize at the time was, let me back up. I always looked at myself as a Republican. And when I started voting, I mean, I was Bob Dole, 1996. I was Alan Keyes in the 2000 primary, y'all. And then Bush. Yeah, laugh it up. Yeah, because I have some regrets. I talked a friend of mine out of voting. Please don't throw stuff, especially on Ron Paul's 90th birthday today. I talked to a friend of mine. I think of this all the time. Thank you. I talked my friend Sutton out of voting for Ron Paul and voting for Fred Thompson in the South Carolina primary 2008. Please don't hurt me. Please let me out of here alive. I regret that conversation. We were at a South Carolina Stingrays hockey game. I regret that so much. And the argument was, he's got a better chance of winning. Who gives a crap, man? Just vote your conscience. I should have never said what I said to him. But anyway, and sometimes, do you ever stop and fantasize? What would 8 years of Ron Paul as president been for our nation? What would 8 years of maybe Ross Perot? Do you ever stop and think of these alternate timelines where, so who would have been president during 9/11? Who would have been president? Anyway, maybe it's just me. It's probably just me. But to answer your question, how do you get the libertarians and the conservatives to join forces? You know, if you can't scare them out of what the hell Democrats with total power can do, I mean, what's going to get them? I mean, we're getting into pissing matches on the right, which is why we have so much trouble battling the left. And it's so frustrating to see the it's not really friendly fire, but it's frustrating as hell, because at the end of the day, you could sit down with a conservative and a libertarian and go through the Bill of Rights and find agreement, probably 10 for damn 10. You're not going to get that kind of agreement if you're sitting down with a radical leftist or someone who's holding office here at your state capitol. And there's such a bigger picture that I think gets overlooked. And I wish I had an answer for that other than keep talking and keep doing what you guys are doing, and you'll change hearts and minds and votes. But yes, it's very frustrating. It truly is.
Do you think conservatives and libertarians get along better now that neoconservatives are a lot weaker in the Republican Party?
Yeah, you know what? That's actually, I love how you guys are making me think about this stuff because seriously, 20 years ago. So as depressing as it can be, there's also signs of hope. This is great because I would say that the Republican Party is a lot more friendly to libertarian-minded people in values than neocons now.
Yeah.
20 years ago, it would have been exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm in real time just thinking of this stuff, and that's a great point. Yes, because Lindsey Graham and John McCain's of the world, the majority of the Republican Party base doesn't like what they stood for and stand for. But you could introduce someone like I don't know, I guess Thomas Massey gets shit too now from the right, so for no reason at all. Rand Paul pushes back. So, but I still think that those ideas that those guys represent, for example, so just forget the names, just the ideas. I really think that there's a much more acceptance in the Republican Party for libertarian ideas than progressive ideas and neocon ideas. And that's a very promising development, I think, long term. Sorry.
So being in media, do you feel, and it's probably maybe even because you'll have probably more information with the people you work with, do you feel like they're compromised or useful idiots?
Can I say neither? I will elaborate. I personally don't suspect anyone that I know as compromised. Some stuff that's come out about some people shocked me. There's been some interesting alliances out there. And you go, oh shit, well now it makes sense. Okay, I guess I should have seen that one. And useful idiots. I don't know that they're useful. I think there's a lot of people in my line of work that are just lazy. They're just lazy. And that's so frustrating. Turn on the microphone, and just having done no research, having shown no interest in looking into an issue, and just being this pre-programmed mouthpiece for a political party. I don't know that they're compromised, though. I just think they're lazy. And so that's the most frustrating thing, is that when you have someone who is paid to share their opinions, who won't take 5 minutes to do their own homework or to look into an issue where maybe they'll end up at a different place. This is why I personally love debating with people. I love having conversations with people, because either I'm going to learn something or they're going to learn something, or maybe we'll both learn something. But I think that there's this lack of intellectual curiosity from people with a platform, and it frustrates the hell out of me. I think that's the answer. Yeah.
When you look to Argentina, who finally elected a libertarian president, and if you look at everything, economic growth within that state and how dramatically it's improved every single month over month over month, but that only happened because they had descended so far into socialism, which is the direction that we are headed as a country. Do you think we need to keep diving into socialism, or do you think that there's hope otherwise?
I think my theory on Milei and Argentina is that was a country that the WEF let slide under the radar. And I think when someone that was that dynamic, you're right about the country tanking first, and that obviously had a lot to do with it. But I think that the fact that, oh my gosh, look, people are pissed off, and here is an amazing opportunity to save their country, and I think he was just such a force. And I'll tell you, I know how well the economy in Argentina is doing, because the second Milei got elected, I I put a little money into some Argentina stocks, okay? And they've been the only thing that I've invested in that have been excellent with the return. But as far as the United States, like, are you saying that do we have to crash that hard in order to pull ourselves out of it?
Do better on our own.
Yeah. That's not my thing about a lot, you know. Because even if you hit rock bottom, I feel like our debt is so bad now. I don't even know what recovery would look like at this point. And in fact, I did some back of the envelope math, which is always a danger for me, as you know. Keith math is a thing. And I was looking at, okay, so Trump likes tariffs. And this is, and I did some math. I forgot the numbers now, but if what I saw was correct, the maximum amount of tariff income that he's going to bring in, if he gets everything he wants, pales in comparison to what they bring in from the income tax. So, you know, this pipe dream of mine to, okay, you want to do tariffs, no income tax. No, the answer isn't which tax we should keep. It's we should cut spending. That is the answer. It's not which tax is going to bring in the most revenue. So in a larger sense to your question, I really don't know. I think it honestly, it feels like Weimar is around the corner, you know, so I don't know, but I'm a pessimist though. So don't listen to the things I say. So when I say something positive, that should be, you write that shit down. So I really don't know. I will say that a Kamala Harris presidency would have felt like the final nail in the coffin. But if you're living every 4 years and every election is the most important election of all time, then how much longer do you have as a country? So I don't know. But again, I'm a pessimist. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to do, I guess, 3 more questions.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on what she said, just to put some numbers of what you said. You know, the tariffs, in the best case scenario, they're talking about $350 billion a year. The income tax is $3.7 trillion, so it's around 10 times as much.
Yeah.
The federal budget is $7 trillion, so it's almost 100% of debt every year. On whether we should go into socialism first, I come from Italy and I escaped from that country almost 10 years ago. And I can still say today, even though America is on the same train, just 10 cars behind, I think it's still in a position where America can have 3 times the problem that it has, and it's still a better country than any other places I've been. But the concern that I have personally, and it might happen sooner, if Trump makes the economy collapse, which is a possibility.
Yeah, blame him, huh?
I don't know if it's him or not. Some of the policies he's doing, I disagree. But if that happens, I think we're going to get an AOC type as a president.
That's what I'm saying.
And when that happens, I think the world will see America, what it is right now, is the evidence that capitalism does not work.
Right.
And we might get a Stalinist situation being normal. So my personal view is that this is probably the last ship we have. Milei is going to do good stuff, but it won't provide enough evidence to say there's an alternative system. Argentina is a small country. No one cares about it. So I think the situation is way worse in the future than we think.
No, you're right.
I hope I die before that happens.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that's...
To heaven, and we hope for the best.
We'll turn it into another country, like other parts.
No, that's such a great point, that if the economy collapses on that kind of scale and a Republican is in power, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's going to open the door to a progressive nightmare. I agree. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. It's going to be populism it's going to be on steroids. You're absolutely right. And I mean, isn't this what gave us the New Deal? I mean, right? FDR. Look how bad capitalism is. So what'd you say? Right, 2008, Obama. Yep. I mean, Ta-da! But do you ever think, again, I live on these alternate timelines. Do you ever think, what would have happened if somehow McCain would have won that? I mean, it would have just continued the spiral downward.
I think the collapse, like Obama would have won anyway, but the collapse made it so that he got whatever he wanted
Right.
in 2 years.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking that it actually would have been better for John Kerry to win in 2004 because, you know, the housing bubble would have blown up anyway.
Yeah.
It would have just blown up under, you know, John Kerry.
Sure. Yeah. No, 100%. Ohio was the only state that was the thing that gave it to Bush. Yeah, it's so, isn't it? I'm total geekdom here. I'm sorry. I think of these alternate timelines. You know, what would have happened if that had fallen into Kerry's lap? Then maybe we would have avoided Obama, but then you would have never had Trump. And if you never had Trump, you're not going to have some, I think, dynamic cabinet picks like RFK. And so you could do this what if forever. Yeah. But you're absolutely right, though, about the economy. Go ahead. Sorry.
You said that there are no group in Texas like this one. I have a question. In Texas, there are a lot of religious people. Have you checked many different churches? Maybe some churches present similar ideas.
That's a good idea.
But have you checked them?
No, I have not.
Do you go to church?
Yeah. My wife's a pastor.
Okay.
I know. And I'm sitting here going, shit, that's actually a good point. Dang it, I should write that down. That's good. I like it.
Because libertarian, it's kind of faith.
Explain that. Because I get the
to
take.
Liberty, it's kind of faith. It's a world view, what you are thinking about, how world is not created, but how the world works, I would say.
Say that last part again, I'm sorry.
So I believe that a libertarian idea is similar to faith.
Okay, that's interesting because is that a prevalent parallel for a lot of people? Because I've always gotten a different vibe on that, and the thing that I've always felt. Yeah, you want to add to this? Let's see if I can. Do you want me to screw this up first, or do you want to go first?
I don't know how you could support any faith that's like. I don't know that how you could support any faith and still not be a libertarian because of what the state does to human beings.
Okay, that's awesome, and that needs to be the messaging right there, because every time I bring up libertarianism, and there was about 5 minutes in 2008 that I wanted to run for Congress as a libertarian. And anytime I've brought up the word libertarian, that's a godless group over there that, you know, that anarchy and all this stuff, right?
Different faith.
Right.
Christianity by itself.
I understand. Yeah, you make a great point. I'm just telling you what the perception is every time I bring up libertarianism to a believer. Not every time, but a lot of times when I bring up that political angle, the first thing I hear is, they kill babies. They kill babies. And they want open borders. Those are the two biggest pushbacks I get. I'm telling you what the perception is, not telling you what my perception is. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a PR problem. I don't know if it's a marketing issue. I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm always hearing kill babies, border open, that's libertarians.
And stop war knocks.
Yeah, on the idea of libertarianism and religion, I think I can offer some perspective that the founding father has. And disclaimer, I read the whole Federalist paper and the whole Constitutional Convention, so some of the things you probably know already anyway. But the general idea was, and a lot of people also bash Adam Smith like the dirty capitalist, and it's all about profit. It was a little bit different than that. You know, just to offer a couple of examples. John Adams, which it was probably a terrible president, but at least he was clear on the fact that this constitution is for religious and moral people.
Yeah.
And even Adam Smith, in his The Wealth of Nation, he clearly said that the capitalism idea is not going to offer the barrier that we need. And he wrote a different book on it called The Theory of Moral Sentiment. Where I'm going with this is the idea of libertarianism is your guardrails that will show you the path for a moral life is not and should not be offered by the government. It will be offered by your religion. And so
that's great.
That's I think that's why the problem of the United States decaying is because this is a constitution that was written for Christian people.
Yeah.
This is not a Christian country anymore. And so those guardrails have been given for granted for ages and hundreds of years, have gone away through Woodrow Wilson and Roosevelt and Lyndon Johnson and all those minions and probably criminal. So I think that is the linkage that I will try to market with.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you free because you have other guardrails that are given by your family and your religion and whatsoever.
I love that. I mean, I absolutely love that, because the ultimate case for being able to self-govern is the government's role is to be there to protect not me from myself, but protect my God-given rights or wherever your natural rights. That's the role of the government. The compromise, that's the problem here. We're always making compromises. The compromise happened with the founders that you just referenced. That was the compromise. The Constitution is the compromise. And y'all make such a great point with if you're trying to pitch a political solution to American voters, I think you're absolutely right about the churches. I think you're right about that. And I just got done telling you guys, I love having these conversations. I love having my eyes open because I've never thought about these angles. This is absolutely 100% it's just right there. So I'm grateful for this stimulation here in this conversation. And it's a shame that I didn't put two and two together before right now. And it's absolutely right. Y'all are absolutely right. To go to the religious people in this country that are maybe looking for a political solution, growing government, just because it has an R after it, that doesn't make it good. I think you're absolutely right. I'm going to have to do some more thinking on this, but I think you can pitch to people who believe in religious freedom that libertarianism makes the most sense far and away by exactly how you guys laid this out.
All right, last question. So you mentioned a lot of people in your field are lazy, which I don't think it's just your field. But I'm curious, in your experience, who are the best and worst conservative commentators that you've dealt with or seen or behind the scenes? And why do you think that's the case? Yeah, exactly. Conservative dirt.
No, this will be on YouTube. I don't think so. Let me think here.
Why is Sean Hannity the worst?
Is he still around?
He's very popular still.
No, go. What do you got?
Like you said, you're the talkers, and the thing with talkers, not that you are personally, I know you personally, but like all these people, Candace Owens, all these people, they want people listening to them.
Yeah.
They don't want to make solutions.
I know.
Even people we agree with, Dave Smith, Malcolm Malice, all these people, they want people listening to them because that's how they make money.
It's frustrating.
If you get people going out and changing the status quo, that's less money. Which, like, I'm a capitalist, I get the money. But also, we're trying to actually not get a tyrannical government too. So, like,
I know.
And I appreciate that you can like share that from that perspective, because I've seen you kind of like change over the years too since COVID, like where you're like, what the hell is like, but don't think I don't lump you in with those people, by the way. But like, I like that you said that, because it's like, that's my big problem is all these people will just follow Nick Fuentes, all these people. And it's like, go do something, but they don't ever inspire people to do anything. Yeah. They don't want them to, because they want them to listen to them. Like, it's a whole like, Yeah, Matt Walsh, all these people, they don't tell them how to go testify at the government or do anything like that. Even though he did, and he like tried to get like it's just. I appreciate you for that. That's all.
Thank you. And to answer your question, I guess because I listen to podcasts too, just like everybody else. I think if I think the host, and what I got to be honest, I typically look for a topic or a guest, and then I stumble upon a show. But as far as names, I think the closest person, and I don't think he always gets it right, so I don't want you to think this is a blanket endorsement for every damn syllable that's come out of his mouth. But I think that of all of the popular hosts out there, I think the one who genuinely, and if I'm being fooled, y'all jump down my throat. I feel like Tucker Carlson is genuinely searching for answers. Am I wrong?
No.
Okay. So I think he is actually having conversations like I like to have with people. How so? He'll ask that. He'll follow up questions, and he will. I think the best thing to ever happen to Tucker is Fox News firing him, because now maybe his show it revealed some things, but now he can sit down and he can just talk to someone for hours on end and ask questions that come to his mind. He doesn't have to hurry for a commercial break. So I just enjoy his interview style. I enjoy that kind of back and forth. It's been fascinating. We talked about this earlier. It's been fascinating to watch Joe Rogan transform before our eyes.
He got compromised, like taking that Spotify.
Oh, okay. So he's so now you don't. No. I'm curious. So you think that he's beholden to anything Spotify says?
It changed when he got the Spotify money. There's been a lot of people, once they took the Spotify money, their shows changed.
I'll take Spotify money.
No, it's just changed. And they also removed episodes. Like they removed, I think, 3 Michael Malice episodes.
That's true.
I think they brought it back though.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anybody knows anybody at Spotify? You can give them my number. I'm fine. You can compromise me. I don't care. Anyway.
I'll praise Pfizer all they want me to do.
Tell Joe Rogan to get involved in Austin politics around there.
But
fuck you money, and that city's ruined it. And it's like, you can help, bro. And he doesn't even care. Because he doesn't know.
I'll just say that anybody can have a podcast. Anybody can go out and talk and complain or what have you. But that's the other thing. I needed in my own world an outlet that wasn't just current events, bitch and complain, play the clips. I do my own thing on Thursdays and Fridays where I get that out of my system. The open-ended conversations, the fun stuff, blah, blah, blah. So that I'm not just talking about death and destruction and a nation that's crumbling before our eyes, because we can all do that. And so, what was the question again? I don't even remember now.
Who's the worst one?
Oh gosh.
How you can know the worst if you don't listen to that? Would you listen to worst person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of people hate watch.
Well, yeah.
Like Rachel Maddow.
Oh gosh. Okay. I don't know, man.
I'll make the case for. I don't know if this counts as criteria. It's Jimmy Kimmel, because I think he got compromised.
He's not conservative.
He was talking about conservatives.
Yeah.
Conservative? You want to stick it to conservatives? I'm not a fan of people that just get the damn fax machine. I'm sorry, I'm old.
Who's worse, Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. That's tough. Hang on a second. Let me think here. Who does less homework?
Probably Hannity, if I had to guess.
Okay. I will say that those two names think a lot of themselves, and it comes across in many ways. But boy,
Is Sean Hannity short?
I don't know.
I have no, this comes off as a short name. Oh,
It's frustrating to listen to both of those that you mentioned.
Those people are around when like commies are taking over states.
Yeah.
And they're not telling, even Colorado media, the conservative media wasn't doing anything when we were being, because they want the status quo, because they're not, sorry.
Any closing thoughts?
Y'all have really, I love this. I love this setup. I'm so grateful for all of your effort in this. All of you are just doing some great stuff here, and I need to take some notes before I forget some of this stuff. I'm gonna have to. I like a lot. These are some good suggestions. You got a smart group here. I love this. This is awesome. I wish I lived here. I'd show up here and hang out and sit out here and ask my questions of y'all. But anyway, thanks for this opportunity. I know it wasn't this, grand presentation or whatever, but I appreciate the conversation just the same. Thank y'all so much.
Give it up for Keith.